Aromorach Fancy Sheila, a lady in her early 20s, is pursuing her Bachelor of Laws degree from the Islamic University in Uganda. With a few months to complete her dream course, government announced a 42-day long lockdown that has caused more harm than good to many girls and young women. Since childhood, Sheila tells UBC her desire was to become the first lawyer in the family.
I should say I'm even still dreaming about it until I actually get the feel of I am a lawyer. But I want to say what was set for me as a young girl and a woman in my domestic setting at home drove me to want to be a lawyer and the need to actually be a lawyer. First, the expectation of you're a girl and you cannot do much. You're supposed to do nursing. You are supposed to be a secretary. You're supposed to be light to yourself. But then I'm like, no, I don't think that's what I want to be. I am a daring person. I love to test rough waters of life. I want to challenge myself every single time. So I'm like, the legal profession could be a great one.
She says this would later not only amplify her visibility, to be seen, but also her voice to be heard in society.
There is a great saying, you cannot be a representative of something you do not represent. And that can come from if I do not have a representative, meaning I'm not being heard. So if I'm not included in decisions that are being made, then I'm not being heard. If we as young girls and women are still seen as, you're supposed to be at this level and not the other level, you cannot talk this much, that's what I want to challenge. That's what I want to talk about. We can do it.
As a girl and young women rights advocate, my conversation with her at their home in Kiwatule was to get her views on the effects of COVID-19 among girls and women, especially in the light of increased teenage pregnancy.
There are countless number of young girls and women who want to access services, but they cannot. And even if they had the phone, many of the services that have been put on the online platform are pretty expensive. I do not earn. So this sends me as a young girl to think of ways of earning money, engaging in transactional sex, or doing something so that I can get money to access a service or get money to get food.
A report by the UN Children's Body UNICEF on the impact of COVID-19 lockdown among school-going girls and young women. In Uganda, it is indicated that between March 2020 and June 2021, there was 22.5% increase in teenage pregnancy among girls aged 10 to 24 seeking first antenatal care, from 80,653 to 98,810. Claire Kumu, a peer educator, says even before the lockdown, young girls, especially those with physical disabilities, have always had challenges of accessing sexual reproductive health services.
Society thinks we are too young to perhaps access contraceptives or pregnancy-related services. Yes, so because of this, you find very many young girls engaging in transactional sex and exposing themselves to very risky behaviors and even pregnancies. But because of the age discrimination, we cannot access these services. And it's even more difficult for girls with disabilities like myself. Yes, because society thinks that we should not feel this.
As a girls and young women rights advocate and a peer educator activist respectively, Sheila and Claire are now empowering young girls to realize their full potential under the She Leads campaign, spearheaded by Girl Up Initiative Uganda. They blame lawmakers for undermining youth's views.
And our voices, yes, we speak up and we are heard, but we are never taken seriously. No action is actually taken to follow up on what we are contributing or what we want to see them do for us. But rather, stakeholders decide to make decisions on their own. We are not involved from the grassroots.
Even as you tell a girl, you tell her you actually have the ability to determine something for yourself or make a good decision. But then she's like, no, but I was told this. I was told I don't have to speak up. I have to always just listen. I can't talk back. I have to... Being respectful is being quiet.
The executive director, Girl Up Initiative Uganda, Monica Nyiraguhebwa, says getting the voices of girls and young women heard goes beyond having youth representation in parliament.
All we are saying is that people should appreciate that's important that as we make policy, as you represent us in Parliament, but are you listening to our voices, or are you assuming in terms of what we require?
Monica attributes challenges facing girls and women to negative gender social norms and believes in the She Leads campaign to change the narrative.
And therefore, we believe that rolling out this She Leads program, we are able to add a unique approach to already what we are doing. We are hoping that by the end of this project, we shall be able to register key significant changes, because we are beginning to do things differently.
Girl Up Initiative Uganda is a young women-led organization that provides young women and girls with opportunities to thrive as leaders in their communities through holistic education and economic empowerment programs. Bernard Higa, UBC News.